my description section, you find a link to the document. So you can, the Excel file, you can find a link to it, you can download it. And as I take you through the exercise, you can also follow and then try to understand. So these are the data set that I'm going to use for this exercise. It is 4,000, you can see there, 4,267 data sets. This one is not easy to sit down and then be able to get answers to the questions that has been given without technology and without data analysis. If you do not have the knowledge of data analysis, it will be difficult for you to analyze this data and get answers to those questions that have been posed. So this is the data set. So this is what we'll be working with. And as I indicated, you can find the link to this document in the description of the video. So we will not take time. What I'll tell you is that we have two things to be working with. We have this particular document, and then inside Excel, we'll be using PivotTable to do the analysis. We're using tables and then PivotTable for this analysis. So if we see my documents are already in a table form, but I'll try to convert it back to the range, and this is how it happened. Highlight the headings of your data set in the Excel file, then you right click it, then you come to tables. When you come to table, you see total rows, then convert to range, then alternatives text. So you select convert to range. So, and then it will ask you, do you want to convert the table to normal range? Because the data was already on a table. So that's why it's asking me that. So I want to do it, then I'll send it back to the tabular form and you see how that too is done. So now it has come back to the normal range. You can see you cannot filter this data again. You cannot filter it. So now to put this in the tabular form, scroll and bring your cursor to the very last of the data set, which is here. So now I can note down the raw heading of the last data set, which is 4,267. I'll note it down somewhere. Then after I've noted it down, come and highlight the data headings, the column headers that are of importance to you. So I'll start from the country or territory of asylum or residence. Then highlight from there up to the column I, which is total administrative cost for host country. After that, you press Ctrl T. It will show you the table pop-up. So kindly delete the last number to your right, which is 1. I delete the 1. Now replace that of your last data set, which was 4,267. You put it there. Then there is this checkbox. My table has headers. Since my raw headers are there, I'll check here, okay, I have it, then do okay. It will come this way, but I don't want my table with this color. So you come to this arrow, drop it down, select none. It will send it back to its usual stage, but still in the table. So now I have done this. Then let's now go and fully review our questions and then come and answer them. So I present to you this full screen. So first question, how many Sudanese refugees are there worldwide, excluding South Sudan? Then how many Sudanese refugees are assisted by UNHCR? Question number 2. Question number 3, between USA, Canada, and the UK, which country received the largest number of refugees? Question number 3, looking at the total refugees versus total refugees assisted by UNHCR, including people in refugee-like situation, do you think UNHCR did a successful job in providing their services and care to all refugees? Question number 4 to be answered. What is the cost Zambia incurred for hosting all the refugees they are receiving? To be answered. Between Kenya and Egypt, which country spent the most on hosting refugees? Question number 6 to be answered. So I'll go back to the data set and then we'll see how to start tackling our questions. So you can see that this has been created. You can also easily create them. You can use this to create them. Assuming I was having question number 7, I'll just do that. Do PO. I'll just do that. Double click and then double click capital Q7. But here is the case, there is not Q7, so I right click and delete it. Yes, delete it. So, but that's how you put it. You use the plus sign to create them. So the Q1, Q2, Q4 up to 6. That's question 1 up to 6. So I've kept the questions here, and then we are coming to answer them. So okay, so let's deep into answering our questions. So this is question number 1. How many Sudanese refugees are there worldwide? Looking at the data, it will be difficult for you to sit down and do one by one filtering to get the total number of Sudanese refugees. So we are going to use pivot table analysis to arrive at the answer to this question. So select a cell here, come and insert, select pivot table, then you select. So you have here, create pivot table, choose the data that you want to analyze. So select table range. So this is the table that you are going to analyze. So you click on the arrow there, you come to sheet 1, then select from cell B1 to I1. Then you change I1 to the last figure of the raw header of my data set, which is 4 2, which is here. That is what is showing here, this place. So which is that. So I change it to 4 2 6 7. Then I'll drop it. Click OK. Then it will come. So the question is how many Sudanese? So you have to check the important terms or variables in the question. So here we have Sudanese, meaning Sudan will be an important thing. And Sudan is a country. Then we have refugees worldwide, excluding South Sudan. So you should know that. So we come here, Sudan is a country, and they are referring to the country of origin here, where the refugees are coming from. So that's their country of origin or country of nationality. So we will have to be looking at the variables to the right of the pivot table. Then you select those variables that will give you the answers to the questions. So for this particular question, country of origin is important. Then refugees here is also important. So you select it. So you see that it has given the table in some style that would not also be easy to even still analyze it. So one thing I have to show you is that when you come here, when you select the variables for your rows will always be your reference point. In other terms, in this particular analysis, they are the string variables, the country, country of origin, country of asylum, and then other things. In some other cases, they can be numbers, but they must always be the reference point. So then I have the sum of values. Sum of values here, it usually add values. It can be count, it can be sum, it can be averages, and then other things. So send these refugees, just hold and drag it, as is here, hold and drag it and move it to that particular area. Then when you move it there, it will tell you count of values. Then you come to value setting. So when you come to value setting, I will do it again. You see, it is saying count of refugees. I don't want count of refugees. I want the total refugees, which is sum of refugees. So click on this arrow. It will open this pop-up. Then you select value fill settings. You click on it. Then you see that it will open this particular menu. Then you have to look for sum. It's already on count, but you have sum, count, average, max, minimum, products, some other things, standard deviation, what, count numbers, by, what. So I will go for sum here for my analysis. Then after you select sum, you click OK. You see that my data has automatically changed here. So then I now come to the pivot table section and then try to filter row labels. So these labels, you click on the arrow here, it will give you this search window. Then you type Sudan. The moment you start typing SUD, it will give you Sudan and then South Sudan. But remember that they said excluding South Sudan. So uncheck select all search results. Then after that, you now select only Sudan. Then you click OK. Then it will give you this particular figure. And these are the number of Sudanese refugees all over the world. So the figure is 805,869. So these are all the refugees of Sudan worldwide. Then let's go to question number 2. Question number 2 is asking how many Sudanese refugees are assisted by UNHCR. So the key terms here should be linked to Sudanese refugees assisted by UNHCR. So select a cell to insert, select pivot table and click on it. Select your range as usual as I did for the first question. You did the same thing. Come here from B to I. Then change the I1 and change it to I4267. Then drop it, click OK. So you will create your empty pivot table. So how many Sudanese refugees are assisted by UNHCR? So these are also for Sudanese, it's still referring to Sudanese refugees assisted by UNHCR. So, so it is showing but with empty pivot table. So let me come to the pivot table field and then select the variables. So here too, the important terms are origin of refugees, then assisted by UNHCR. So the origin of the refugee would definitely be the country of origin, which is here. You select it. Then assisted, we have this variable as refugees assisted by UNHCR. You select it. Then after that, you check whether it is in count or it is in sum. It is in sum, so I'm good to go with it. After that, you select, you come to the pivot table section, then click on this arrow, drop it down, search for Sudan. Then you uncheck all, then select only Sudan. Click OK. Then it has given this figure here. So these are the number of Sudanese refugees assisted by UNHCR. So 752,571 refugees have been assisted by UNHCR. So we move to our third question. It is asking, between USA, Canada, and UK, which country received the largest number of refugees? Received here is the key word, received, not which country has its own refugees. Received refugees. So select a cell, insert. We are going to use pivot table to answer this particular question too. So select pivot table. You select the range as usual, as I did for question 2. Select from B1 to I1. Then change I1 to I4267. Drop it down. Click OK. So, and then you now look also for the variables that will give the answers. Country received. Country received means the country of asylum. The country of asylum or territory of asylum. That should be the country that who actually receive refugees. So here, this particular variable is important in this analysis. Then receive the largest number of refugees. This is referring to refugees, not people in refugee-like situations. This is referring to refugees. So you select refugees here. Yes, I've always mentioned this. So make sure the refugees move to the value section of this pivot table field. Alright, and then as is there, make sure your value field setting is sum. Okay, then after that, I now come to my pivot table under the row labels and then select the 3 countries that have been listed. So click and select all and then look for Canada is on the C column. Canada is here. Then go to U column. UK and USA is in U column. United Kingdom here. Then United States of America here. Click OK. and it has given you the figures. For you to figures, it might find it difficult looking at figures. So you can just run a simple analysis of this table using graphical representation. So insert graph, this, and chart type, this. Okay, select OK. Then it has given me my graphical representation. That is sum of refugees, country or territory of asylum, Canada, UK, USA. So which country? This one, which country will we go for? That is USA. So USA receive the largest number of refugees. Yep. We move to the next question. We move to question 4. Question 4. We are going to use PivotTable to answer all the questions. So don't worry. With some few things like the graph I just did. So question 4. Looking at the total refugees versus total refugees assisted by UNHCR, including people in refugee-like situation. Do you think UNHCR did a successful job in providing their services and care to all refugees? Okay, so the question posed would demand you to do some bit of proportion calculations. So, looking at the total refugees versus total refugees assisted by UNHCR, including people in refugee-like situation. Do you think UNHCR did a successful job in providing their services and care to all refugees? So we use the pivot table to get data, and then we can do our analysis. Do insert pivot table, select the fields, come back to seats B1 to I1, then 4 to 6, 7. Drop it. Okay. So here we are going to be dealing with 3 particular data set. We'll be working with refugees, which will be some. Then we're working on refugees assisted by UNHCR. Then refugees, all of them will be some. Refugees, total refugees and people in refugee-like situation, and then total refugees and people in refugee-like situation assisted by UNHCR. So from here up to here, I'll hide them. Then now with the totals here. So what am I looking at? I'm looking at total refugees versus total refugees assisted by UNHCR. So here you see sum of refugees. Then here you see sum of refugees assisted by UNHCR. So just take a proportion of the refugees assisted by the UNHCR over the proportion of refugees. That is the sum of all refugees. So this place, it will be equals to here, this answer divided by total refugees is the sum of refugees. So we have this converted to percentage. So we have 51%. 51%. And if you want, maybe 50.5%. And 2 decimal place. Okay, so 50.52%. So 8% is a pass mark, but it is actually not encouraging if you have been able to help only half of the refugees population. I think something needs to still be improved, meaning about half of those same people are suffering due to refugee situations. So I think they have done well, but at least it should be improved to tackle either 80 or 90% of people in refugees situation. People who are refugees. Okay. So we move to our next question. What is the cost Zambia incurred for hosting all the refugees they are receiving? So cost. The 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 word here is cost. Important word. Another one is Zambia. Then hosting. All the hosting here meaning receiving, and then how you receive them and then you handle them. So I come to pivot, select a cell, insert pivot table, then you select your pivot table by coming to sheet 1, highlight from B1 to I1, then you change the 1 to 4 to 6, 7. Then drop it, okay. Pivot table is back here. So now, hosting country. You see, hosting country. Hosting country is the country who receive refugees. So that should be the country of asylum. So that is important here to check under the pivot table fields. So that is where you check. You check country or territory of asylum or residence. Then after that, the next thing is cost Zambia incurred for hosting and the cost incurred. So we have total administrative cost, which is last here, last element. Then you select it. Then you make sure you move that to the value column. Then it will give you, then I come here, filter my Zambia out. Zambia, and check all, and select only Zambia. So it is giving count. So these are sometimes some of the situations. You can do it, the thing will give you count. So if it give you count and you don't check, you would think that you have done something wrong, but it gives you some little things. So if you say count, here if you say count, you see count of total administrative cost for host country Zambia. It is not count. I want it to sum all the cost. So right click there. When you right click it, you see, come down, you see summarize values by. When you select it, you see it will give you summarize value by sum, count, average, maximum, minimum, product, more options. So I want sum, so we change it to sum. So this is it. So you apply your command here and then you get the monetary value of the money Zambia spent. So that will be 1,416,740,000, whichever currency. It can be dollars, it can be Ghana cedis, it can be euros, it can be the Zambia currency, whichever. But then we move to our last question. Between Kenya and Egypt, which country spend the most on hosting refugees? So I will gladly take this question. I will not answer it on this sheet. I will take it from here and then I'll send it to sheet 5 and then rename sheet 5 as Q5N and Q5 and then Q6. Now delete this one, delete it, and then this one here. Let me put this one here. Okay. Okay. Then I'll answer this question to here. That is why I brought it back here. It can be answered here because it's also in line with the question. So select here. Then I'll search for Zambia, Kenya, and Egypt. So select here. Then look for Zambia. Gambia is selected. I'm looking for key column. Kenya here. Then looking for. I'm looking for which place to. I'm looking for Egypt. So E column Egypt. E column Egypt is here. Selected. Okay. So the question is asking that between Egypt and Kenya, which one spend the highest? So let me just use graphical representation to get this one done for you. Insert graph, then more charts. Okay. Put it here. So we have Egypt and Kenya. So per this graph, which is the total cost in whichever currency in US. Let's just take it in US dollars. So Kenya spend more than Egypt in terms of hosting refugees. So that is the question. And also between Egypt and Zambia, Egypt also spend more than Zambia. So that is the graphical representation of the problem. So thank you guys for being here and then going through this. Watch. If you like it, subscribe to my channel. And as I've started this, I'm going to come with more of these kind of tutorials for people who are beginners, university graduates, and college graduates. Thank you all for watching the video to this end, and then I will encourage you and to keep looking forward to more of these kind of videos coming here. As I said, it is my inspiration, and then I give thanks to ALX Africa for putting me in this journey. And then I'm gonna make sure I make good use of the lessons that I've learned from them, and then other lessons I'm learning from other sources to create impact for people in my social environment. People with it. Thank you all for your attention, and then you can check my YouTube handle at pep_Edmond Peggy. So that is my handle, and then you can follow me for more of this kind of tutorials, data analysis. I'm here for you guys. Thank you very much, anywhere you have watched from.